it is clear that there was an attempt, a seditious conspiracy. Yeah. Now, what they're trying to, I'll phrase it this way. Right now, what do we know? There's something called the standalone complex. Are you familiar with the term?
I've heard of the term. I'm not.
I think it originates from Ghost in the Shell. It's a manga and anime. But the idea is when a bunch of people all do something in a way that looks like a conspiracy, like if there's a crowd of people and all of a sudden everybody stands up, you might think it was coordinated, but it's not.
Yeah.
That's what we can say happened right now. But I will say this. All of these people who pushed the lies, Hillary Clinton making these false claims, the FBI then chasing after evidence that was not correct, the manipulation of evidence to further FISA warrants, suggests probable cause that there was a seditious conspiracy.
Correct.
At the bare minimum, I am hoping that we actually see a real AG get in when your dad gets reelected, and he just says, we're going to start filing some criminal investigations, likely some criminal indictments, and then these people end up getting charged. I think Adam Schiff is criminally culpable for going on TV over and over again, trying to subvert this country and sow distrust in our institutions.
Well, and so just reverse it, right? Reverse the parties for a second. If Republicans did what Adam Schiff did, they'd be in the gulags right now. I mean, someone would be in Gitmo. I use, I don't want to necessarily talk about myself that way the whole time, but like, if I was Hunter Biden,
right,
like they wouldn't be removing the team at the IRS to hand it over to the DOJ because they had a whistleblower. That whistleblower would be beyond reproach. If I was on video, I mean, if I did one of the hundreds of degenerate things, like it would be disqualifying, not just for me, but for my father, but for him, it's okay. Mm-hmm. Millions of dollars, the shell entities that were magically formed to do business the second Joe Biden had authority to do, only in the countries that Joe Biden had any kind of authority where he could manipulate an outcome. Like magically, these people are all of a sudden business people. I mean, we got in trouble for building buildings when I think there's a pretty solid record that our family's been building buildings for 60 years. It's that, the two-tiered levels and two-tier system of justice right now that's just so flagrant. It's so in your face. Even those who may hate Trump or me or whatever, like I don't think that anyone can objectively look at it. Maybe they won't say it in polite company, but when they're sitting there by themselves at night being like, okay, well, there's a lot of BS here.
Is when your dad gets reelected, I don't know if you speak for him, and I do think there's something silly of being like, Trump Jr. is here, let me ask you what your dad thinks.
Yeah, no, I don't, because a lot of candidly, there's so much every day. Like I couldn't keep up with the insanity to begin with. Right, there's not enough time in the.
I'm just hoping that he fires everybody.
Yeah,
classic Trump, you're fired.
Little Cobra
to all the bureaucrats. I hope that a real AG comes in and says this country needs a fresh start. This corruption's got to go.
Yeah, well, listen, I do know this, and talking to him, I mean, coming in as an outsider was great, but you also have the pitfalls of that, which is, again, you can't fathom that, honestly, even like a Democrat politician at the time. Now we're everything's in hindsight, right? So it feels like we're so much, like, obviously, Wuhan lab leak, right? Like, of course it was, like, now I always believed that was the point of origin, but, did we really think our health officials would literally subvert the health of the American people? They would, like, we know that now, but at the time, you know what I mean? One of the things they gave my father a lot of stuff over January 6th. I don't know what I can say on YouTube or not, but I don't think it's controversial. But why didn't he pardon people? Well, in the 7 days between that and, like, we didn't know. They didn't release any information. We were told it was a violent this. We weren't shown any video. 2 years later, we finally get the videos because Republicans are able to release that, but there's a reason they control that information. You can see that happen then, but in that period of time, you actually didn't know much.
I actually think if we look at the CNN debate that your dad had with Caitlin Collins, it was he answered rather well.